Pooh Shiesty wanted out of his contract, pulled out an AK-style rifle.
No, goodness. I think this generation is beyond wanting to get away with it. I mean, I think getting away with it isn't. They want the clout. They want to be talked about. These children are creating whack history. You know how they got Black History Month? Right. This is going to be Whack History Month.
Speaking of problematic, Kanye West sold out 2 shows in LA.
Wish I was there.
What? You do?
Boys and Men was allegedly turning girls to ladies.
Welcome to another episode of What Just Happened, where we recap the wild that we seen this week. It's your boy School. I'm here with an esteemed panel as always. Talk to him.
What's up, y'all? I'm Ollie. You know what I'm saying? Representing here to talk about stuff with all y'all.
What's going on them sides?
Yeah, because I wasn't sure of the beat. He looked at me when he wasn't done with his beat. Do it again.
No, we're good.
Okay. Hey, it's your girl, Miss Lissa, your favorite comedian, L.
But actually, speaking of comedians, this actually was real, but it seemed funny as hell, just based on how the details are coming out. Pooh Shiesty, his pops, and Big 30, and 8 people total, it was 8 people total, robbed and kidnapped Gucci Mane.
Not good.
Gucci the player we talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, first off, they do this, they get him in the studio. Pooh Shiesty wanted out of his contract, pulled out an AK-style rifle.
Oh, goodness.
Took Gucci's jewelry. The people that was with Gucci took their jewelry too. But Pooh Shiesty's dad was with him too, which is very super crazy. But they do all of this. Here's the kicker though. Pooh Shiesty had on an ankle monitor during this whole thing. And then one of the other dudes that was and took part in the alleged robbery, you gotta say alleged.
Yes, you have to. Come on.
He also had on an ankle monitor. And then afterwards, after it's done, they post to social media. One of the dudes that was with Gucci, he had like a little tote bag full of like Rolexes and all stuff. They take that. One dude posts all that on his IG and then tags it Dallas, Texas. Like, I don't know if this was supposed to be something they wanted to get away with, or
clearly not.
I don't understand how that worked.
I think this generation is beyond wanting to get away with it. I mean, I think getting away with it isn't. They want the clout. They want to be talked about. These children are creating whack history. You know how they got Black History Month? Right. This is going to be Whack History Month. Like, these are all the ignorant children from the social media era where they don't want to get away with a crime. They want to get talked about for them. Like, that's just what it is. Like, why would you have on an ankle monitor?
Yeah, why are you going with that?
You have on an ankle.
The ankle monitor is crazy.
I mean, having an ankle monitor on this lets me know that you don't care about it.
Right.
That shows
But
stupid.
I think, but you know, I gotta be really honest. I don't think it's just like being stupid. I think one of the biggest problems is a lot of people in general don't know how to like think things through logically. So like, you want to get out of your contract and you're thinking you're about to run up and do whatever you're gonna do. It's like they don't take the step to go, do we have an ankle monitor on? Are we gonna post this after? Or we like, people don't take 2 seconds to just, I don't know, plan a little bit. I'm not saying the crime. I'm not saying this alleged crime should have happened. But I'm just saying either you got to know how to stop yourself and be like, this ain't the best way to go about this. Or if we're gonna do this, let's do it in the best possible way.
But look at who's with him. We got Papa Shiesty on the ones and twos. Like, this is who he learned from. He learned from a stupid criminal. Because there's no way that Joe Jackson would be with Michael when they running up in Barry Gordy's studio. No, he gonna whoop ass behind the scenes like he was doing. Like, come on.
Why was he out of there? Like, do we know?
Because
It's Paul. So Pooh Shiesty Pops is like he's like a big time dude out there. So the whole thing behind that. So
thank you.
She wasn't back in Pooh Shiesty when he was coming home. He wasn't there when he got released.
Right.
The chain, the jewelry, or the little money he did have, and he did accumulate. His dad did it. So now Pooh, they broke. So now they want out the contract so he can try to eventually make more money.
But so why they
figure it.
Why you both go?
That's the game. I mean,
somebody got to be
stupid. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is where stupidity coming because, you know, there's other ways if they was going to go that route.
That's what I'm saying.
They could have went other ways of going about that route. But I guess they figure this is this is my thought on this. I just think they assumed that Gucci is Gucci. They think
Right.
Gucci was going to go the route he went, and he was just going to get away with it.
Right.
So, but that's really the whole.
Didn't it get like that between Gucci and Jeezy allegedly? So what made y'all think that it was going to be Gucci with Gucci?
Gucci with Gucci, bro.
Listen, that's what threw it off, because it's like, you're not talking about Gucci Mane, Gucci.
Right.
The man that don't even lick his lips, come on, like ain't nothing going past him.
Well, this is a healed Gucci Mane, though.
Very much here. Very much here.
Unchapped.
Yeah.
This is
But
unchapped.
the funny thing about this is Gucci Mane actually has a very good track record in terms of artists that have been signed to him that have been successful.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He had Young Thug, he had Waka, OJ the Juice Man. He's had a few people that have come up behind him that have been, that relatively been successful.
How many
So-
people have been mad?
You said how many of them are mad?
Yeah. Like, who else they
one-
have?
Oh, well, he got other people that are in prison and then
Those are the ones that put themselves in that position. Gucci ain't say, here, go do that.
Right.
Right.
So why are you mad at him? Like, you know what I mean?
My thing is, I feel like, I don't know. We were talking off camera about like the younger generation being very entitled and feeling like they should have everything. Now, I'm not sure if this is who Pooh Shiesty is personally,
Right.
but he just didn't give it any time. Like, he came home and immediately was like, yo,
What you have going on for me?
yeah,
That's what
like
I'm
where's
saying,
like I
man.
guess he expected to come home to
Gucci
turn up
thought
some
maybe
money.
you wanted to get some coochie first.
But
do
see,
some
like
things,
most
locked
managers
up.
that have artists, if they incarcerated, they're there to greet them on the come out. You see, it was no interview. You knew if anybody knew that situation or was following that situation, you knew off the back was going to be saying Gucci was not there to support his artists on some release. So you knew it was something going on.
Was TMZ there? How do we know that he wasn't there? His cameras was
Wasn't
there.
That would have been
there,
posted.
trust me.
They'd have posted
Yeah,
that.
he wasn't there, trust me. And it's so like this happened how long ago though? Why is it coming out now?
So, yeah,
That's what I want to know. That's what I want
I
to
didn't even know nothing about this.
So you
till now.
remember there was a picture that came out where somebody, and they were saying it was Pooh Shiesty, had Gucci like by the collar, and they were like, "This picture got to be fake because it's Gucci Mane." Nobody, we can't fathom Gucci Mane being, you know what I'm saying, in this type of situation, and it ended up being real. Like, it ended up being like, no, this actually really happened. But now it's like, Pooh Shiesty and other people that allegedly are involved may be in prison forever,
But
especially
but this photo came out, and then like when did this actual robbery allegedly happen?
in January.
Oh, in January.
Yeah,
So it just
Okay.
kinda started.
Okay.
That's crazy. And I feel like that's also a problem with AI. AI has us questioning everything. We see Gucci Mane getting hemmed up, and we like, that got to be AI. It's like, no, he getting hemmed up.
Yeah.
Or Gucci.
Yeah, poor Gucci is right, but
Poor Who's that? He's the one that's really
He's getting what he deserves.
right now, but
yeah,
He is the reason why our children are covering their faces and looking like they're robbing people at all times, right? Like, baby, this is why you needed to come home and rebrand. You still acting like the Robin to the Pooh Shiesty. We want to just know Pooh. You need to leave the Shiesty behind. You should have left Shiesty in jail, Pooh. We should have came out Winnie. Winnie the, okay?
Winnie the Pooh. That's crazy.
Yeah, Winnie the Pooh
He should have came out
Shiesty.
Winnie the
Winnie the
Pooh
Pooh.
Shiesty.
Why?
Winnie the Pooh Shiesty.
No pants.
Hey man, look, look, we don't want no smoke. Pooh, whoever is
Absolutely.
affiliated, y'all is allegedly did a
In
robbery
jail,
with.
we ain't got to worry about you.
Yeah, but y'all allegedly did a robbery and kidnapping with ankle monitors. That means you got nothing to lose out here. You really don't give a fuck.
It also means you're going to get caught. So you go ahead and if you want to, and with your ankle monitors, and you need to be monitoring your brain. I wish you had a brain monitor.
Right, like, yeah.
Make it make sense.
Ankle monitor is crazy.
Ankle monitor is crazy.
Miss Lissa is speaking for herself here.
Because you want to with a beeper on your ankle, baby.
Yeah.
I just think it's unfortunate. It should have been more thinking with that.
Oh, well, yeah, for sure. You don't take the camera crew when you
Yeah,
up
like,
there.
I'm saying, I'm saying that y'all gonna come get me because y'all crazy. That's wild. Please don't. But
At the same time, though, there are people that have allegedly committed, crimes before, and it just the follow up behind it just doesn't make any sense. OJ Simpson's whole situation. I don't know if y'all paid attention. I'm always like watching docs and whatever else that's around him, right? He did pretty much everything possible after getting off to tell everybody, no, I really did do this shit, but
Yep.
I ain't really do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, no, you did do it.
Yeah.
The only
Double
thing missing
jeopardy
was a
too.
TMZ crew at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you go through like the information and all that,
crazy.
stuff, it's crazy.
And he was really telling people like, I did it.
Yeah.
Like, every time he made it, he was like, haha, just
What?
scared you, whatever.
He was
Like,
doing that.
and like, trying to kill her. Like,
And on top of that, he had a whole book.
yeah, yes, he did. Anybody did it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's called.
So around COVID, he sat down with Judith Regan, I believe her name is. Sits down with her, and the interview ends up coming out. And the interview is like, it's called, they framed it as like a confession.
It was
He's sitting with her.
but if I did,
There it is.
Well, that was the
how I
book.
woulda.
Yeah, that was the book. But there's an actual interview that you can see. It's on YouTube. The whole thing's on YouTube. And he sits down with her and he details the actual murder. And it's like,
Yeah.
then they go through, they have like Chris Darden and other people like sitting on the couch. And it's like, well, what do you think when you hear that? And Chris Darden's like, that's a confession.
Right.
Like, he's just like, yo, all these years, it just because he walks you through
Yeah.
and he tries to frame it like a hypothetical situation. It's like, this is way too detailed. You
Right.
feel me?
Well, it's double jeopardy is a real thing, right? So he can't be charged. He's
Oh, of
already
course.
found.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
you,
why
well,
he
he
got
could,
down, so-
he could, but I'm saying, you know, God
Yeah.
bless the dead. He could Dr. Seuss that all he wanted to, or he wanted, like, I already didn't prove it. The glove didn't fit, and everybody got to stay strong because I didn't do it. But if I did,
But
like,
that's why they gave him all that time for stealing back that.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
They try to get him somewhere.
Yeah, but did y'all see the Brandy situation?
Yes, Brandy
What?
was definitely in the news because she revealed that she has a new memoir that's out. And in her memoir, she revealed that she feels like she was being groomed by a member of Boys to Men. His name is Kanye Morris. You know, the one that was always over-singing everybody. The Beyonce of Boys to Men. Yeah, Boys to Men was allegedly turning girls to ladies. So she is saying that she wanted to be down, but not that way. So according to Brandy, Kanye took her under the wing as like a mentor. He was, you know, tapping in with her when she was like 15. And by the time she was 16, she was losing her virginity. He was 22. The memoir is out. And also a clip resurfaced of Kanye in an interview in which he said, I don't know what she talking about, that she was old enough to get it. And that's a quote. So the question is, why was the grape culture or the grooming culture or older men and younger women, why was that so okay back in the day? And also, what do y'all feel about some of the backlash that Brandy is getting? Because there's people that were saying, you know, maybe Brandy was a little fast. If you listen to the lyrics,
I don't think
she
she was
did say
fast.
she wanted to be down. She did say she's young, but she's wise enough to know. So it's like, were you?
But that, okay, so this is an unpopular opinion, I think, but I'm gonna always say this, and I mean it, and I dated older men or guys at that age. Like you said, I think it depends on like what you know, how you are. So like at 15, 16, my boyfriend was definitely 5 years older than me, had apartments, cars, I had a job, I'm working with them. I'm getting them jobs. Like we moved fast. I was like, I wasn't fast because I kept the one boyfriend.
All people call it fast.
It was fast. But what I'm saying is I wasn't groomed. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy I was with was not a groomer in any kind of way. We was cool. We was people before. We was just friends. You know what I'm saying? It was regular. But I've known girls that were sharp in their mind and they were groomed by a predator as, you know what I'm saying, person that's like, oh, she goofy as I'm gonna get it. And then they treating her is a different thing. So back then it was very normal. Like it really was. And I don't care what nobody say. And guess what? I don't have no bad stories. And and then people used to be like, oh, what about when you have a daughter? I had a daughter. And she dealt with stupid boys, bro. And so when she was 17, I would have rather her be with a 23-year-old that would have treated her right than some of these 17-year-olds that wasn't. So I just think that it depends on the person. But if she feel like she got groomed and he took advantage, he might have. But I know me at 16, ain't nobody taking advantage of me. I knew what I mean. I knew what I wanted.
Man.
That just was that. That was
They was paying that beeper.
that beeper. Like, what's up?
I definitely think Kanye knew what he was doing though too. So
Yeah.
it's like, because there's a lot of people, and oftentimes it's mainly men that are in power positions, and they use their position to kind of take advantage of women. And that's 100% what he's doing. Like, she's 15.
Right.
He's like having regular check-ins with, it's like, come on, dog. Like, all right, I understand if you trying to coach her up or whatever, because there are people that are genuine mentors to younger people and all that other stuff. You got nieces, nephews, whatever, you want to coach them up. That's cool. But he knew what he's doing in this particular position. You feel what I'm saying? And then also with the whole she's old enough to get it. And there was also in Essence saying how when it would be done or whatever, that he'd say, yo, my girlfriend is 16 and he was 22 at the time. It's like, come on, man, you know better than that.
I mean, honestly, though, a lot of us, and when we think about, first of all, I want to say this is the generation of accountability. Like, we're not going to have the same barbecues and cookouts that we used to because we was having a good time because a lot of us was lying. We wasn't talking about uncle that got the touching problem. I wasn't talking about certain. And this generation is not sweeping nothing under the rug. They don't sweep and they don't brush their teeth. They want to know everything. They want the hard, funky truth. I want to say that. And in saying that, I do want to realize that a lot of us come from sexual assault, or like my grandmother was very, I don't know the age gap, but it was substantial to where my grandfather had children that were not that much younger than my grandmother. Oh. So it's like and I'm a product of that. It's like my mother is one of like 10 children. And this is not a story that's like abnormal. I remember my friend was telling me that she got into an argument with one of her homegirls because she was telling her this love story of how her grandfather saw her grandmother doing laundry in a laundromat and just whisked her away and got married. She was like 13 and he was like 28 or something. I don't know the gap, but it was just like, girl, that's not a love story. Right. So again, it was a different time. So it's just like, what do we do? Do we allow that to just be the time that it was and just keep it pushing? Or do we allow people like Brandy to work through that? Because it's like you said, maybe she was hot and ready and she said it in the lyrics. But maybe now she thinks
she had to reflect. I think when you I think too, like when you have kids or when you just get older, sometimes you reflect back. So that's what I'm saying. When I reflect back, like I don't reflect back and ever be like, oh my God, I got like taken advantage of. I don't have that experience with the older people I dealt with. But when I hear her, I feel like she genuinely is like, yo, I'm looking back now, like that was not what I thought it was. So, like, again, I just think it's case by case. You can look back and know some people was out to, like you said, he knew what he was doing. And some people, it just, you know what I'm saying? There are real love stories. There are people that just meet and there's an age gap. That's a real thing. You know what I'm saying? But
exactly. I'm with you.
My husband was 10 years older than me, bro.
And we were 16.
And no, not at that time. No, not what I meant. But what I'm saying is like,
but the numbers don't change.
The numbers don't change.
And 26 and 26 and 36.
You get what I'm saying? Like 40 age gaps or age gaps.
I guess the mentality does.
You should venture them gaps when you're a certain age. Like when you're 16 and you're 20. Nah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is sometimes you don't know.
Listen, my daughter is 25. I would not date a 25-year-old.
Right.
I mean, you should.
No, how would you feel if she came home?
Well, it's been my age dating.
Oh no, I know, but I agree.
What I'm saying, I mean, in the same aspect, what I'm saying is, I'm not dating somebody 5 years my senior. It's a senior.
You're elder. You're senior.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not.
No, you're 5 years. They're elder.
Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Like I'm not. No,
y'all too.
It looks weird.
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%.
No, that's all I ever did.
The other thing too, you probably know, like when we were kids, like when you're in school and the girls in your grade are dealing with the guys that are older, it was always like we in school and the girl in your class, she's dating the hustler. You know what I'm saying? That graduated.
That was me. I was getting picked up.
Yeah, like
they walking home and I'm like, oh, they conversation.
That was me. We be, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, damn, you can't even holler at Shorty because she dealing with, homeboy.
Y'all wasn't ready yet.
Nah, but it's just,
I ain't gonna hold you. When I used to witness,
we wasn't ready yet. That's crazy.
I used to witness that. And I got out of junior high school.
Right.
And I used to go back around. I'd be like, what? Don't even look right.
Right.
Why was... Because we look completely different now. Now we look older. They look wild, younger.
Yeah.
You can't be picking up at high school. You look crazy.
They were doing it. That's what was picked. He's saying even your boo. He's saying even coming back a year later, he's like, I look different. I feel different. I'm not a senior anymore. Whatever. He's saying that he felt different. So he's saying that.
It's like awkward.
Yeah. When I see pictures of myself, I be like, damn, I look like a baby.
They look like babies.
That's what I'm saying. When I see pictures of myself, I'm like, wow, I really look like a baby. Like, I saw a picture of me at 15 where I thought I was grown. I had like a little like Pepe G shirt, couldn't tell me that. And I'm looking like, I look like a baby. What grown man or what older boy? Because I was the same thing. When I was 15, I had like an 18-year-old boyfriend. I remember when I was 17 thinking I'm talking to somebody 22. But now I have a 16-year-old daughter and I'm like, I'll kill somebody.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
I will definitely kill
100%.
Like, because my daughter is really like a teenager, though. She's really like a real 16-year-old. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm raising like a Disney character.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, I don't want my daughter, like, there's certain, she could date, like how I was dating, but them guys ain't gonna talk to her. Because it's just not even the same. But that's the other thing I'm saying. Like, it wasn't like I'm meeting guys and we're meeting them like you're pulling up at high school. Or let's just even talk about I'm 20. Like, I was
pulling up.
No, but what I'm saying is, so those are the predator guys.
Yeah.
I'm saying then I might just be 20, 21, and I'm out at something. We just kicking it. I've been talking to you for 3 hours. I get your number, especially back then. You ain't on Instagram. It's nothing. It might be 5 days before I'm like, how old is you? Like now we already done. Like now you start being like, we gonna just kick it. Now you just kicking it.
And that's a vibe. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm trying to say. There's older relationship, whether it's a girl or a guy, but like there's older men and younger girls in relationships where it really just started as a vibe. It wasn't him thinking young.
But still,
it's still wrong.
She's not a grown. I mean, she's got baby Poonie.
Right.
That's a grown man. Like,
and she's still figuring it out.
He should be like, all right, well, I should.
But I'm gonna be honest. Most grown men are immature and not figured out, bro. But, like, I'm not trying to be funny. Like,
no, you're right.
When I was dating people 10 years older than me, I'm the one that had the credit, the cars, apartment. Then, like, they still kind of find themselves something. Maybe they was getting in trouble and you know what I'm saying? Maybe whatever. So it's like a lot of times when it's a younger woman, and I'm talking about a woman that's mentally like there, not like you kind of line up with the older dude because he's finally maturing. Like he's finally like, you know, I want to kind of settle now. And I'm like, and I'm out of college now and I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying, settle down too. And so it kind of lines up.
I understand. I mean, but still, I don't want to go to jail for statutory rape.
Yeah. Well, that's young girls. That's young. We're talking young girls.
That's what I'm saying. It's 16.
Like, I mean, when you're adults, y'all making different decisions.
But the age is like 16 anyway. Like the age is 16 in most states. 17. Yeah. Okay. But the crazy thing is the age is 16, 15, 17, in different states, it's all different ages. So you got men that are like, I'm not catching a charge. I'm allowed to sleep with her.
That's crazy. That's just crazy.
There's a lot of countries or states or whatever. There are states that they don't even have a limit or...
No, they have limits, but some of them are...
No, but there are some where they don't have a limit, like for marriage to children. As long as the parent... And if you're getting married, don't you have to consummate the marriage? So it's like a lot of places in the United States where there is no boundary to that as long as the parent is like, you all right? You say you're going to do R. Kelly? You say you're going to give her a record deal? What you say? Like,
parents signing off on that is super problematic. But speaking of problematic, Kanye West sold out 2 shows in LA.
Wish I was there.
You do?
I would love
Kanye.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me.
Why?
Like people
I wouldn't pay for it.
No, I'm just like black people supporting Kanye. This is crazy to me now.
Why?
I mean, like y'all. That's y'all. That's
for what reason?
For every reason. There's so many reasons. Like
we can't separate the man from the madness.
No, you still no. See, all right. So like. When I look at that, right, when people say, okay, you want to separate the guy from the music or whatever it is, like you get the total package of the individual. You can't like, it's like if you're dating somebody.
I agree with a lot of stuff Kanye rants about. I just don't like his rants. But a lot of the stuff that he says, I absolutely agree with him.
Be
careful.
Yeah.
And I just feel like certain things, people like Kanye, he's going to just say it. And it might not sound good. And sometimes I'll be like, damn, why would he say that?
I think he got autism.
Listen, nah, we not doing
spectrism.
Look.
He on a spectrism.
Kanye dressed up in a KKK robe. He went on national TV and said slavery was a choice. I'm cool. I'm good. There's nothing. There isn't.
No, but
that's what I'm saying.
Slavery is a choice. Even right now.
Wait, whoa.
That's why Nat Turner decided that he didn't want it. That's why they revolted because they chose that they didn't want to do that no more and had more than the 75 people that decided that they was going to do. If all the slaves would have said, you know what, we right. The same way now, we outnumber them. And we decide that we're going to let them play in our face and kill this person over Skittles and get on his knee. And we decide to not do nothing. And we yell and march, but we don't do nothing. So that's what he's saying. He's saying that we don't do nothing. But if we decided to do something, and I mean, do with that part of the video what you want, but in real life, it is a choice.
Yeah, but you're saying that from a 2026 mentality.
No, there was a revolt on August 22nd and August 21st and August 22nd. I don't know the year. Nat Turner and I think 75 slaves tried to do what nobody else and in real life there were way more other revolts, but in this country they don't want to tell you how many times slaves put massa head on somebody's porch. They don't want to tell you how many times black people did try to not be slaves, because then that would empower us now to do certain things. They don't want to see us build and come together and fight or decide that we're not taking certain things because they scared that we going to do to them what they did to us.
Right. No, I agree. That part is, yes.
So what Kanye said about that is wrong.
But saying that black people chose to be enslaved
again. He said it. That's what I'm trying to say. Kanye said that wrong. Because when I heard him, I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I thought. But then I said, what she just said in my head. Like, bro, what he's really saying is like, we did not rise up until, like she just said, we didn't rise up like we can. Just like right now. Like,
we still like
also, even right now when all this pedophilia came out in our country, I'm looking like, when, like, who's gonna rise up?
Oh no,
start
not
taking out. You said stop. You said stop.
This is white people.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. Where are those white people that was running in? But I'm just talking about people rising up. I feel like that's what he's saying. We get stuck in situations sometimes because we just, in a sense, accept our loss.
Yeah, but
that's what I feel like he was saying, but he said it wrong.
I understand the notion of what you guys are speaking from. I understand that. I get that. But to simply say that black people, which Kanye did say at the time, chose to be enslaved is just crazy. You have to think about the time and the times that they were in. We're thinking now, because we have the freedoms and liberties that we do, that we would not allow something like that to happen. But you're talking about in the 1800s when, no, they did not have that going. There was no education. They had no privy to any of that stuff. They were literally victims of their circumstance.
I think so. It can't be. Now, though. I think it could happen right now.
No, it couldn't. There's no way.
I think that. Yep. No. I'm saying no. This is what I'm saying. I think they. I think our country is so. They could find a certain state. They can go to certain places. You see how they rounding up
and enslave.
That would never happen.
Bro, do you think going on? There's children in ICE facilities on islands because they're all impregnated because they were raped and they moving them. What do you think they're doing with people that they're taking? What do you understand? They're still slaves in the world?
Yeah, but go ahead.
They will have to start a war or some type of something anarchy for them to try to enslave black people right now. They will. I'm telling you.
Well, that's only jail. Jail is the legal way to get out. And that's why more of us in jail.
But that's the other thing. Black people ain't in fear of white people the same way. That's we're in different times.
It's not about
that's what I'm saying. We're in different times now. No,
they walking around with guns and feel like that.
Exactly.
But I'm not even talking about fear of white people. I'm not even talking about black people.
But the fear has a lot to do with it.
I'm talking about fear of people in general. I'm talking about in general. Forget black and white. Because our country will put whoever the hell they want right now in a facility or slave them. I'm you are. So that's off the board at this point. What I'm saying is, as a people are fearful. You know what I'm saying? People are fearful to stand up. People are fearful to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? And rise up against. So like he just said, they would have to be like, it would have to be anarchic. Not really. Maybe, yeah, if they came to the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? But
we overpopular. We are.
But I'm saying, I'm talking about people. I'm talking about slaving people. Stop saying black. I'm not talking about black. I'm talking about people. Because they're not doing that no more in America. It ain't no more black and white.
Rich and poor.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Rich and poor. Very much in class.
You understand what I'm saying? It ain't about being scared of white people no more. It's about what I'm trying to say is what I'll be trying. Like, I feel like Kanye's message under all that be, let's stop being. You know what I'm saying? And when you see fight against it, he don't know how to say that, but that's the reality of that message.
If they came at us as a people, if we was all to be united,
that's what they about to do. And that's what they about to do.
Even worse.
That's why people need to make sure we all on the same page and ain't falling for that race bait. Because they taking us as a group now. It's like you said, it's going to be high and low. The end. It's
but I think poor black people ain't allowing a white man to come in. Nah, I don't really think that's but the I understand again that what you guys are trying to say in terms of what, like, translating what Kanye was trying to say rather.
right.
But it just sounds crazy when he's just,
It does.
we can't just like brush over slavery in that way. But for me personally, I stopped messing with him a long time ago. Like,
I here for the music. R. Kelly.
But even wait, what?
He said he still listens to R. Kelly.
I do. I listen to 6 9
I don't care. Yeah, I listen
I don't fuck with 6ix9ine at all. It's not.
I mean, I never
I'm here
liked
for
the
the music. The music.
Nothing about him was ever appealing.
Because if we was really gonna do that, would we even have a soundtrack? Because it's like when it comes to us, it's like, oh, cancel this and like, but it's like, well, y'all still not y'all, but they still have Elvis. Like, it's so many people that was doing so many things, and it's just like we supposed to cancel our people, and we supposed to, and it's like I definitely understand, but
what
I'm separating the person in certain for that in certain
music.
and that.
For me, I stopped messing with Kanye once all that stuff happened. That Kanye that I will listen to now predates all of this.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm talking about
but that's not canceling Kanye.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy Kanye. That Kanye's cool. I mess with that Kanye. The Kanye post that I can't.
I mean, I'm not like checking for his music like that right now.
Yeah, I mean, like, if y'all do.
No, I'm just saying, like,
I still listen to old stuff.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. I'm still listening to old
But I
stuff.
can't. Yeah, I know. I have friends that went to the concert and all that. And I mean, listen, however y'all want to do it, y'all want to do it. For me, I think for just us as a whole, we give too much grace when we're disrespected. I don't like that. And I feel like somebody, we get people that play in our face, like you're saying, talk to us in a derogatory manner, and we get over it. And we're just expected to get over it. Same when we talk about like the BBC thing that happened with Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
They could have edited that out, but they let it go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was pre-recorded. They could have taken that out. But it's okay to disrespect black people. And the reason why it's okay to disrespect black people because we take
because we choose to be slaves.
No.
Hello, that's exactly what I'm saying. That
listen, that's why I said I understand what you're trying to say. I get that, but what I'm saying is we have to stop allowing people to do that. We have to start holding people accountable more. And Kanye, unfortunately, him being one of us, we need to hold him accountable that he did. So even when he went on TV and said, slavery's a choice or whatever. That's offensive to us. And then he did a bunch. Then with the election interference, trying to get Donald Trump in office. That's crazy.
Lost me for a moment.
But that's what I'm saying. There's a lot. There's multiple things like the election interference. We are currently feeling the brunt of a Trump presidency.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's what I'm saying. So for him to be running election interference to try to get that guy elected again is just crazy because it does what we take the weight of that. You know what I mean? He doesn't, he's rich.
Right.
He can shield his people from whatever he needs to. We can't do that.
Right.
You feel me? So that's where I'm tapped out on that. And in addition to that, when he did all that disrespectful stuff, it took him forever to apologize to black people for doing it.
Did he?
Yeah, he put out that letter, but he had stuff to promote.
I didn't even know he apologized.
So exactly, but that's the thing. It like you didn't even. Now when he offended, they held that feet to the fire, and he was like, "Yo, my bad."
Y'all should have held your feet to the fire, and that's your problem. Y'all still out there buying them Yeezys and all of them things. He knew that y'all wasn't going to just drop a sneaker and y'all was going to be good.
Yeah,
I mean. What you're saying is completely right, but I also want to say to you, though, School, because what you're saying about what he said about the message, we understood what he meant. So if we know what he meant, and even though the delivery might have hurt us, it was a tough love, and it was something that people needed to hear. We needed to be also held to the fire that we holding. That's what it is. We choosing to let people do certain things, and at what point are we going to decide to move forward in a different manner? And they don't have to be the violent way, but it got to be a way. Whether it's us really uniting and holding the black dollar as tight as other people do in their community or whatever, it's something, and we never did that. We were so busy mad at how he said it that we still didn't fix the problem.
But in a world where white folks, specifically this particular administration now, they are trying to erase slavery in schools and everything else, and just try to brush over it as if it was a job that black people had. You cannot, as a black man or any race for that matter, get on TV and say black people chose that lifestyle, that we chose to be enslaved. You cannot do that. It doesn't matter if you have a deeper meaning to it or not. The way that we are currently being treated and the way that black people are historically talked about, you cannot go on TV and say something like that. It doesn't matter if you're like, oh yeah, there's a deeper level to it or not. No, because you're now perpetuating the that they're trying to make us believe. You feel me? Like there's a lot of kids that they still have to learn all of this stuff. You know what I mean? Like all y'all are parents. You guys, like, you know, the kids go, you send them off to school. We have no idea what they're being taught now because they're trying to erase and whitewash slavery in this country. You cannot talk about the history of white folks in this country and their culture without mentioning slavery. You can't. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, Kanye being a cultural figure for us should not be on that side doing like that. Like,
I mean, I feel like, you know, it's like black culture. So first, school starts in the home, right? So it's like when the child is failing and the mom yelling at the teacher like, oh, what did you do to him? But what did you do to him, right? So I also feel like we know different speech. So we know that a hoe could be a tool in the garden or it could be a tool on the block, right? So a hoe, if I say, yo, what about that hoe? You know I'm not talking about the garden. So when Kanye said slavery was a choice, you knew, black man, black woman, that he was saying, let's stop letting them play it up and let's choose differently because we chose wrong the first time. That's how. So now we gotta stop playing. He can't get on there and say, hey guys, everybody, it's another revolution. His mother was who she was, even though she got a little tainted, God bless the dead, because it make me sad when I think about that fact that she died trying to get a BBL or whatever mommy makeover you trying to get, Miss Donda. That makes me sad. But even still, she still was who she was and educated the way she was, spoke to him, that he's still a brilliant man. So again, he got up and said what he said, but can we read between the lines?
But that's
it was
what
a message in the madness.
But that's what I'm saying. Like we're not in a place for that right now. You have to think about the propaganda and the nonsense.
We need to talk in secret again. Slavery ended because of the songs, because they was braiding things in people's hair. We wasn't blatant about that. That's not how we got from point A to point B. They didn't help us. We had found some cool white people. Those were the abolitionists. So those are the people that put you got to find your cool whites, and we got to move a little more inconspicuous.
All right, yeah. So, all right. Yeah. Anyway, did y'all see Trick Daddy get thrown out of the AKA? So, first and foremost, man, listen, I'm probably the only Greek up here.
Absolutely.
What are we doing?
I love Gyro.
What are we doing? No.
I love Gyro.
Wow. You're crazy. Obviously, I mean,
no, I'm just playing.
But
AKAs.
Why
would you invite Trick Daddy?
I want you guys to enjoy these lyrics by Trick Daddy. I'll eat your coochie with your legs up, down your back, up your crack, then I'll blow it all in your butt.
Come on.
I'll suck.
Yes, you better.
Where your drawers crawl.
Ooh.
Suck them.
Ooh.
And make you climb the wall.
Damn.
It tastes so sweet.
It's so sweet.
From your head to your feet. It's my treat.
Ooh.
So baby girl, let me eat.
Oh.
It's getting spicy.
I love you dearly. What are we doing? Why do we think that a man that recited
Daddy?
Trying to go home.
And that's skinny Trick. Woo!
What was happening here? You feel me? Like we got to do better. Like, and then the older woman we thought we wanted it to be clean, and we thought he doesn't have clean lyrics.
Trick Daddy.
Right.
His name is dirty.
Right.
Trick Daddy.
You don't know Nan.
No.
It's like, you don't know now.
I'm mad you even booked him, and then what you wanted him to say?
Like, what are we talking about?
Happy birthday?
Was Donny Hathaway not available?
Hello.
Were the Winans not available? I mean, because if you look at it was an older older crowd that had most of the issue. The younger girls knew what we were getting, what they were getting.
They came in for
you know what I'm
this.
saying? They know, like, I'm sure the younger women of Alpha Kappa Alpha probably sat there and said, Trick Daddy. I'm sure a bunch of them said that. I'm sure that was the reaction. And then they looking at the older, basilisks and so on and so forth, presidents, whatever. Y'all sure y'all want to do this? They're like, yeah, we're doing something for the young people. This is where you got to have young people in the room.
Right.
Can't have old people making young decisions.
Right.
You feel me? And this is crazy.
Cause you got what you needed, not what you wanted.
Yeah.
You needed Trick Daddy at that moment.
Well, the issue though is when you have older generations that still struggle embracing us and our culture and et cetera, like youth culture or just hip hop in general, this is not going to help.
Yeah, you can't bring Trick Daddy as
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Please enjoy our hip hop.
Yeah, there's
a good representation of.
There were better artists they could have chosen for sure.
For that situation.
The same time, it's like I understand they were trying to connect, they were trying to bridge the gap or whatever, maybe with the artist.
With Trick Daddy?
But you could have used like Ludacris. Ludacris is he got sense. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Like Trick Daddy, right? Though, AKA was also known as he never there.
Exactly.
He didn't know what it stood for.
Right.
He
You could have did Luda. You could have did Tip. You could have did Jeezy, who is a healed version of Jeezy.
That's so.
You could have did so many different.
You should have did Pooh Shiesty because he could definitely use the coin.
Oh my God.
Right. Well, yeah. They probably would have allegedly robbed everybody there. Then what? Then what? Then hey, lock the doors.
Then I have cameras in there.
Exactly. Now this is what we do.
Got that contract.
There's so many different ways that this could have played out. I'm just like, who thought that this?
I want to hear the background conversation though with the person that booked.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Versus the person that was like, I told you.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, you not.
I would have loved to been in the room after and just heard like what was going on. Because I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi. There's no way we're gonna do, and like our song is "Wipe Me Down." That's like our song by Boosie. If Boosie comes to perform, we know we're getting Boosie. It's like you're paying for the whole shebang here. You can't just be like, all right, hey Boosie, look, we need you. This is a country ass. Is gonna listen to you. Like, look, have my money.
Right.
I'm gonna do my records,
right.
and I'm gonna be out of here. Them not up there to edit their words and none of that other stuff. They don't care about none of that. They want their bag. They came to do what they came to do, and they're leaving.
Is there footage? I'm sorry.
Oh, absolutely.
Performing?
Absolutely, there's
I didn't
footage.
see that.
Some of the women are getting up and walking out and everything.
I don't have. I didn't complete college, and I don't have a lot in my Greek.
Yeah.
But I do have questions, right? Mm-hmm. So the thing is, right, because you said "Wipe Me Down" is y'all song, right? Yeah. So y'all a different generation. So what about the elder Kappas that do not, they don't like, they didn't move to "Wipe Me Down"? Like they were dancing to the Temptations. So how do y'all make a vote? Like when we having an event, like who decides and then who says no?
So I think it's a little different with fraternities. They much more embrace, like, for example, we go to a wedding if somebody's getting married, and there's always multiple generations covered at a wedding. They get in the stroll lounge with us and everything. Matter of fact, one of my frat brothers just had a baby shower, and his fiance's father, he plays in like 79 or something like that, or in the early 80s or whatever it is. He was in the line with us. We were hyping him up. You know what I'm saying? Like doing stroll.
So it's the same dance but to a different tune.
Yeah, like he's still kind of they embrace it a little bit more. Now, of course, there's pushback with certain artists or whatever it is. But for the most part, they do embrace like where we are today. And there is a conversation where you get to a happy medium of, okay, we can, like if they're asking for, they know that you can't break out the Isley Brothers and expect like the young, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, these organizations live and continue to live by having youth
that want to join. Right.
So you're not bringing anybody there but the older, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta like have some sort of bridge gap there, you know what I mean? Like, and that's where like a Ludacris or a T.I., T.I. is actually putting out phenomenal music again. by the way.
Serious.
Yo, he is.
So
And so is Juvenile. Don't sleep.
but that's what,
Yes.
but yeah, Juvenile made
Yeah.
it back up. But that's the thing. You have a T.I. He checks off a lot of boxes there. You know what I mean? And people know who he is. And
They probably didn't have that budget. You see how that's different.
oh no, the budget.
Yeah, that's a different coin. That's a couple
Yeah.
of zeros.
But then at the same time, then you got to figure that out. Like, what are we trying to do? How much money do we have? How many calls can we make? So on and so
They should
forth.
have got Bow Wow, but I think that's a different coin too. Who in the bracket of a Trick Daddy could they have called? Like Beanie Siegel?
That is not the way to go either.
No,
Like,
definitely not.
He would have definitely spoke the truth every time he stepped in the booth.
and
Like at least they wouldn't have been twerking. Like he would have gave them some knowledge. They would have left out of there stronger,
Listen,
better, wiser.
Block.
No, stronger, better, wiser. He would stop putting drugs in his sock. You make it easy for the cops to catch you. Okay?
I love Siegel.
In that bag of pretzels. They know.
Siegel at an AK event is crazy.
That's the thing.
That is crazy.
I
But
know who they could have got really.
that's what I honestly think it would have been R&B, maybe.
I was about to say why they couldn't go R&B because that's more.
And Jaheim definitely would have been way lower than you would have got some change back.
Song.
Hey, whatever you spent on Trick Daddy, you get some money back on Jaheim and a new song. You was bugging.
Listen, you might have to go with somebody that does Cupid Shuffle or something. Hey, I think he in prison though. Ain't he?
That's too much.
No. Who's the dude that watch me name
Oh, yeah.
it.
He's in jail?
He's in jail.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he committed like murders.
Yeah, he did some crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, the name.
Who knew he was really whipping Nene?
Whipping.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy.
All right. So Jaden Ivey, he went on a rant just talking about the LGBT community and
Jesus.
talking about it being ungodlike and everything else and all this other stuff, and found himself on the unemployment line after that. But people are debating like his truth and everything else. No, we can't do that. This is a modern society. There's going to be people that have a different lifestyle that you lead and all that. We got to learn to work together. You can't be a member of the NBA or anything actually and just go on a rant about a group of people in that manner. But
I'm with the freedom of speech.
Yo,
I'm good. I'm able to say what I want to say and not be penalized for it. I'm not putting my hands on nobody.
I agree with you.
First Amendment.
no, so I understand the freedom of speech aspect to it, but at the same time, hate speech is not.
But he didn't. To me,
He didn't. No, so I'm
he
just
did
saying.
not sound hateful.
Yeah,
It sounded like this is my opinion.
Yeah.
And I love LGBTQ. I'm part of that. I'm not like, you know what I'm saying? If I listen to him, I didn't feel offended. I felt like this is how he feels.
Mhm.
And he can feel that way. You know what I'm saying? He didn't say like, and y'all should die and this should happen. And
right.
like, according
But
to my teachings, what I've learned, this is what I've learned. I just think that people need to stop being sensitive and just say like, that ain't for me. I don't need to listen to that.
But my thing is, and where I was going with the hate speech was with people hide a lot of that behind freedom of speech, where they can just say hateful things or whatever. Now, I'm not saying Jaden Ivey was doing
Right.
that.
But you're right. People do that.
But like the other aspect to that is a lot of Christian nationalists hide hate speech behind religion. And they try to say, oh, well, God this or God that. God doesn't want these people here. And it's like, no, bro, that's not what you're talking about. Right. That's not in the Bible. And the thing is, though, why do that? You are a millionaire.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't jeopardize your money just because, like, I don't understand the rationale and the logic that he went through in his mind and said, let me fire up this lie.
Correct.
He is young.
We're back to
It's the same generation.
entitlement.
Right. And
I get to
ankle
say what
monitor.
Yeah, I get to say
ankle
what I
monitor
wanna say.
kids.
You're right.
So
Someone
they're
that do
not
crime.
And the other thing is like these younger generation are literally used to their phone just being in their hand and just turning it on and just talking and
sharing everything.
sharing and just so I think people need to stop looking. It's not as detailed as like where we would have to be like, all right, you know what? Let me get a camera. We're going to set this up. We're going to have this whole conversation.
Right.
They're just like, you know what? I was just thinking, da-da-da-da-da-da. And they just
their
go
diary.
and boom, send. And then now his whole world comes down. It's like, bro, he just had a thought and he just shared it. And maybe he should have just not shared it. You know what I'm saying? But I don't understand like canceling people so hard for like.
Well, you gotta.
I don't either.
But you gotta think about it like this. So flip it, right? Let's say you guys are you are running you're a personality, right?
Yes.
You create content, you do a lot of that stuff. You are hiring, you're hiring staff. And somebody gets on their live and just says something that is, whether it's racially offensive or derogatory towards women or just anything like that, you would go back to them and say, listen, this is not what my company is about. And you know what I mean? You got to go.
I would say, I wouldn't say you have to go. I would say, listen, depending on what they said. I would say, listen, I saw what you posted that doesn't align with what we're doing here. I'm going to need you to take that down and moving forward, like, not to post stuff like that because it's going to make it look like it's part of our business. I wouldn't just be like, and now because you said that you're out.
Right.
So
Like, that's, come on.
that sounds good. That sounds good. But when you are running a multi-million or multi-billion dollar corporation and that person reflects whatever they do, it does reflect on you if you still employ that person. So that does, like, you can't just do
But
things
if I
like
look
that.
at the NBA,
He's
like,
human. He's not a human.
Yeah,
He
like,
is.
and the NBA,
So then
like,
is he a perfect human? Because there are none of those.
And I'm not saying that.
So then make it make sense in the world. And we're saying that one first thing is like, y'all push religion on people. This man pulled up a book. It's called the Bible. He was using that. He had references and a bibliography, and he had attachments and receipts. This is where he learned it from. This is it. But can he not have an opinion? Do they need to always share everything? No. But we have a time where we're able to do that. So he did that. Why is that such a big deal? I am an entertainer, and there are bookers, there are people managers, there are other comedians that I don't like. I don't like their opinions. I don't like who they voted for. I don't care. If we're on a show together, I don't care. I'm gonna still do my job. I'm not gonna even if I don't have to talk to you, we don't have to even engage.
So what happens then if you are running a business and this person does go on a rant like that, and then now you have protesters out front of your place of business every day?
The offense needs to be, the apology needs to be as loud as the offense. He needs to go on record. Jaden, whatever my last name is, that no one even knew who I was until I said this. You're welcome. So now you're bigger than you ever were before. So even if this doesn't work out, baby, a podcast, go stream. We didn't know you before this. So this might be a blessing in disguise. But in real life, why do we keep penalizing people for being human? So either as a human, he overshared. As a human, can we not forgive him?
And
can he not issue an apology and then we move forward?
But also, like you said, like, how does it reflect on the NBA? If I look at the NBA, I honestly imagine that half of the owners feel just like him. If I'm being honest. So what do we?
NFL, I would say more than NFL.
Bro,
NBA
either
is
one.
a little bit more.
Either one.
Yeah.
It could, like, bro, let's just be honest. If we
Well,
talking
I
money
will
is
say-
at the top, like,
Yeah.
like, so all I'm saying is, in the world, it's like pretty much half the people feel like him, and then half the people are like, whatever, we ain't really with that. So it's just like, I can't look at a business or anything as an entirety, a family, anything, and be like, oh, because he think that they all think that. I'm like, no, they think that. Y'all probably think something. Like, it's just part of I just feel like people are getting too crazy about, like, we all have to think alike and be careful.
Right.
Like, why, bro? We don't think alike. And,
Well, I
and
think-
it's okay.
Well, I think the other thing too is there's a lot of men or athletes that are employed in both, these leagues that abuse women regularly, and they're still there.
Exactly.
So I think we have to pick
It's when the boys get mad.
Thank you.
We
So
can
that's-
do that.
It's patriarchy. It's when the boys get mad. Whether it's when the boys and when the guys get upset, that's when things get mad. Y'all didn't care when women was getting abused, but as soon as
Keep talking about
you
God.
talk about the coalition, as soon as you go to the alphabet, now you start getting defensive. What about the S's? Nobody cares about the S's.
The what?
The straights. Nobody cares about us, bro. Like this is mad crazy. Like the heterophobia is crazy. Like no one talks about that. Everybody can have their belief system except for us. Like, can we have an opinion? Y'all say, oh, let us live, be free. What about us? Why can't we freely talk? and just live his life, and y'all just let it go.
Oh, he-
You
listen.
think when you want to wear a dress and you want us to bother you at all? I mean, not bother you. Let that man have opinion, no bother.
Listen, he can freely talk and have all the opinions he wants on the unemployment line.
But that's crazy.
For us,
But if he was smacking
we
people,
are signing off. We will see y'all next week on another wild episode of What Just Happened.
What just happened?
what just happened? That was good.
That's good.
I'm gonna get canceled, but it's okay.
I'll get canceled too.
Yeah, no,
I'll get canceled. They like